Hello, friend. Welcome to this space where we're going to explore something deeply personal yet profoundly transformative, your shadow self. If you've ever felt like there's a part of yourself that feels hidden, misunderstood, or even shameful, you are not alone. We all carry parts of ourselves that we don't fully acknowledge. And today, I want to invite you on a journey toward understanding and embracing those pieces. Before we begin, take a moment to breathe deeply. Feel your feet grounded beneath you. This is safe space. You're here because something inside you knows there's more to discover about who you truly are. That knowing is wisdom itself. I'm so grateful you've chosen to be here with me today. Whether you're new to this concept or have been exploring it for years, I welcome your presence and your curiosity. Let's begin this journey together. Let me start by sharing a simple truth. We are not our conscious thoughts alone. We are far more than what we can easily name or control. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who first introduced this concept, described the shadow as those aspects of ourselves that we have disowned, repressed, or denied because they don't fit into our ideal self-image. Think about it. What qualities do you admire in others but rarely see in yourself? What emotions do you try to suppress when they arise? What parts of your personality feel like too much or not enough? These are not flaws. They are simply human experiences that we've learned to hide for survival, protection, or social acceptance. The shadow isn't inherently negative. It contains both our vulnerabilities and our hidden strengths. It holds the creativity we suppress when we're afraid of being judged. It carries the anger we've been taught to apologize for. It stores the dreams we abandoned because they felt too risky. And yes, it also holds patterns that may have served us in childhood but no longer serve us as adults. Here's what I want you to understand. Your shadow is not an enemy. It is a misunderstood friend waiting to be acknowledged. Every time you judge yourself harshly for having certain thoughts or feelings, you're actually pushing them further into the shadows, where they grow stronger and more influential without your conscious awareness. Let me share something that might surprise you. We create our shadows for a reason. In many cases, these hidden parts developed as protective mechanisms during formative years. Perhaps you learned early on that expressing anger would lead to punishment. Maybe showing vulnerability meant losing your place in the family dynamic. Or perhaps certain talents or interests were discouraged because they didn't align with expectations placed upon you. These adaptations helped you survive and function in your environment. They kept you safe, connected, and accepted. But as we grow into adulthood, these same mechanisms can become limiting if left unexamined. The shadow doesn't know it's been asked to outlive its usefulness. It continues operating on autopilot, often creating patterns that feel automatic but are actually learned responses. Consider this: when you find yourself repeating the same relationship dynamics, or feeling inexplicably triggered by certain situations, your shadow is speaking through those reactions. It's trying to protect you using old strategies that no longer fit your current reality. The beauty of awareness is that it gives us a choice. When we recognize these patterns as they emerge, rather than reacting automatically, we create space between stimulus and response. That space is where transformation happens. That space is where integration begins. How do you know when your shadow wants to be acknowledged? Sometimes it shows up in unexpected ways. You might notice intense emotional reactions that seem disproportionate to the situation. Or perhaps you find yourself projecting qualities onto others, seeing what you deny about yourself reflected back at you through other people's behavior. You may experience recurring dreams with vivid, sometimes disturbing imagery. These aren't random. They're your psyche trying to communicate something important. You might feel a persistent sense of incompleteness or dissatisfaction that doesn't resolve with external achievements. Or perhaps you notice certain traits in others that instantly resonate with you, qualities you admire but don't recognize within yourself. Another sign is when you find yourself judging others harshly for behaviors you secretly wish you could express. This projection is your shadow trying to get noticed, even if the message isn't being received consciously. You might also experience creative blocks or feel like you're living a life that doesn't truly reflect who you are underneath. When these patterns emerge, don't panic. Your shadow isn't attacking you. It's inviting you in. It's saying, I'm here, and I want to be part of your wholeness. The invitation is always an opportunity for growth, even when it feels uncomfortable at first. So how do we begin this work? Let me share some gentle practices that have helped countless people on their journey toward shadow integration. First, practice non-judgmental awareness. When you notice a difficult emotion or thought arising, instead of pushing it away or criticizing yourself for having it, simply acknowledge its presence. Say to yourself, "I'm noticing this feeling," or "this thought is here." This simple act of witnessing creates space between you and the experience. Second, keep a shadow journal. Write down moments when you feel triggered, judged, or out of alignment with your values. Then ask yourself, what part of me is reacting? What need isn't being met? What would it mean to honor that part rather than suppress it? Third, practice self-compassion exercises. When you notice shadow material emerging, speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Offer understanding instead of criticism. Remind yourself that these parts developed for good reasons and deserve kindness now. Fourth, engage in creative expression without judgment. Art, writing, movement, any form of creation allows the shadow to express itself safely. Let your hands or voice do what they need to say when words feel inadequate. Fifth, consider working with a therapist or counselor who understands Jungian psychology. Having someone witness your process can be incredibly healing and accelerate integration. Remember, this work is not about eliminating parts of yourself. It's about making peace with all of you, the light and the dark, the strong and the vulnerable, the confident and the uncertain. Integration means bringing these pieces into conscious awareness so they no longer need to operate from hidden places. As you begin this journey, I want you to hold on to one essential truth. Integration is not a destination. It's an ongoing practice. You will have days when it feels like progress and days when old patterns resurface. That's not failure. That's the natural rhythm of healing. The gift of shadow work is profound. When we integrate our shadows, we stop fighting against parts of ourselves. We become more authentic in our relationships because we're no longer hiding who we truly are. We develop greater empathy for others because we recognize their struggles as reflections of our own hidden battles. You'll find that the energy you once spent suppressing or managing your shadow material becomes available for creativity, connection, and living with purpose. The very parts you thought were weaknesses often turn out to be sources of strength when acknowledged and honored. Remember this, wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means presence, with all your complexity, contradictions, and beautiful imperfections intact. It means making peace with the fact that you are a work in progress, and that's okay. In fact, it's necessary for growth. As we come to the end of this time together, I want to leave you with this invitation. Be gentle with yourself as you explore your shadow. This work requires courage, but it also offers something precious, authentic connection with yourself and others. If today resonated with you, consider sharing what you've learned with someone who might benefit from hearing these words. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied, and healing spreads when we're willing to be vulnerable about our own journeys. Thank you for being here, for opening your heart to this exploration, and for trusting that there's more to discover within yourself than you may have realized. Your shadow self is not something to fear or eliminate. It's a part of you waiting to be welcomed home. Take what resonates with you today and let the rest unfold in its own time. You are exactly where you need to be, carrying all the wisdom you require for
Your
this
intention
moment.
creates
I'm
your
so
world.
grateful for your presence
Hit
here.
subscribe
to join
Until we
our
meet
circle
again.
of light and
May you move
manifestation.
through life with
Remember,
curiosity,
peace,
compassion,
compassion within, and
Thank
an
you
open
for
heart
being here
toward all
today.
parts of yourself. Namaste, friends. Namaste.